Hey guys, Into the End here, back with another draft video. I actually started the draft, but I haven't made any picks yet, so let's jump right in. Hmm, I actually like Peacekeeper's prod quite a bit. This is a pretty big swing on tempo, and it's very good when you're pushing through damage. And it fits very well into the kind of decks that I like to draft. So I like this card. Although 4 for 3/2 is a little expensive, and triple green is kind of expensive in terms of influence requirements. Emerald Ring is perfectly fine. Alien's Choice is also very good. All three of I think the best cards in this pack are in green. So my first pick is most assuredly going to be green. This is fine, but it's a 6 drop. I'm not going to start with a 6 drop. So between these three cards, I think um, the Emerald Ring is going to let me go late into the game, but it is a very slow card. Alien's Choice is 2 colors right off the bat, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this triple green reinfluence Peacekeeper's Prod. I think this is an okay place to start, and I do like green. It is my favorite color. Yeah, there's nothing else here that compares. So let's just go. I also like to draft the rares when I see them because it's not very often that you get to play with a rare in draft. So I do tend to want to pick up the rares just to have the sake, just for the sake of trying it out. Um, Zenith Initiation is really good, and there's a lot of really cool shenanigans you can do with this card. Um, like put it on your unit, kill something, bounce it with not envelop, but the other sand card to return it to your hand. A lot of really neat, very powerful shenanigans you can do with Zen Initiation, which I like a lot. Tireless Stranger, of course, is just in the right color. So we can stay just pure green if we want. Horu is one of the best color combinations in my opinion, so having a bunch of flyers is perfectly fine, but I don't need to pick it up this early. The Valkyrie Denouncer is also very good. So I think for me, the cards that I'm most likely gonna take this early is the Senate Initiation and the Tireless Stranger. I think these two cards are on top of my pick list, followed by these 4 cards here. Pummel and these 3 here. Zenin the Cupbearer is perfectly playable, but I have a very bad experience drafting Zenin. If I try to go into it on the first pack, I typically see if time is open in the second pack and then jump into it on the third pack if I have to. I think Zenin Initiation has a higher upside. It's very splashable, so it doesn't matter if I have to splash this, and it's also a cheaper card than Tireless Stranger. So let's just go ahead and pick that up. Ooh, this is actually a very powerful card. It blocks very well, and then attacks very well once you put a weapon onto it. The Battle Tested Stranger is very good, and it kind of entices me to go into Combray here. I think the Battle Tested Stranger is just the most powerful card in the pack in terms of just raw power. It is always going to be a 4/4, and if I pick up a couple more strangers to go with this, it wins games on its own. Whereas the 1/4, doing 1 damage per turn is perfectly fine as unblockable. If you put a weapon on it, it's quite good and it blocks quite well, but it does require a lot of work. Whereas this is just good on its own. So let's take this over not much else. Storm Chaser is still good. Oh, this is good. Both Sand Viper and Strength of Many are good cards. I'm triple green. I'm kind of heavier sand at time at the moment, and the Sand Viper is pretty much always an effective card, and it does a lot what you want the Strength of Many to do. But uh, this card is much more defensive, whereas Strength of Many is often much more aggressive, and I tend to like more aggressive decks. But I have more time cards than I have green. So maybe just go with time as my main color. And I do think Sand Viper overall is maybe a slightly stronger sign than Strength of Many. I think this card a lot of people may consider to be a higher pick than the Strength of Many. So this is a slightly better sign that time is open, perhaps. Blue appears open because there's 2 blue cards, and the Cyclops is actually very good. So let's just grab that Sandviper and not look back. Fencing Master and Peacekeeper's Prod is actually just a natural combo. I like the Familiar as well. Ramping is excellent, and having a Warp 1-2 flying ramp is actually very good, but I think the Fencing Master just works so well that this combo is crazy strong, right? It becomes a 5-5. You make another creature big and stun a unit. It's a really big swing in terms of board presence. So I think I like this enough that I'm just going to go ahead and grab this. This gives me an L2 splashing black if I need it. Red appears open. Both of these are perfectly fine red cards, but I think this buckler is more than fine. Oh, perfect. Then Stranger, it is it has a time symbol on it. It lets me splash Shadow if I need it to. I'm definitely wow. These Cyclopses are good. So someone's gonna have a good blue deck. I know I'm not drafting with any other real players. Anyway, let's just grab this Stranger here. Very late Strength of Many. Like I said, people actually tend to not like this card. I see it really late, and in my opinion, it's one of the reasons to be in green. That you can pick up late, very good playable cards like this. Bolster is also very strong, but man, it's a 4-drop, and I generally like to keep my curve low. And Strength of Many is not much worse than Bolster, and it's a little bit more versatile because it can be offensive as well. Yeah, perfect. Stranger. Ooh, really late Serpent Mount. Blue is certainly open, but we're just gonna grab the Stranger here. Half the color is also right. We do need more justice to make sure that we play this card on curve. None of these cards matter. Just grab this black card, I guess. Yeah, we'll grab the banner in case we want to splash red for some reason, which we probably don't. Ooh, Rise to the Challenge is a good reason to splash red, but the Determined Stranger might very well be the pick here. This Stranger, along with 2 other Strangers already, and the Battle Tested Stranger, we do have a pretty good sub theme going. I kind of regret not picking up the Tireless Stranger on the first pack. So I think Privilege of Rank is actually perfectly fine as well. If I have more of a mid-range deck, but this card is fantastic in our deck. Much better than these here, and Rise to the Challenge might be better, but we have to splash it, and that's not reliable. So yeah, we'll just pick that up. Ooh, Shogun Scepter, very good. So this is kind of the reason you want to be in time. You want to pick up these kind of undercosted, very large bodies. And I'd be very sad if we don't see a few copies of these cards, because then it tells us that time is not open on the 2nd and 4th pack. But it appears to be open. I think this, in terms of raw power level, I know this is an evasive threat, but it's a 3/3, and this is a 6/5. It's got almost double its stats for the same casting cost. And a deck like this just want to brute force your way in. So I think the Dinosaur here is more than fine. Yeah, better than Recruit. Although I do want a copy of Teleport at some point, because then I can reuse the killer on whatever unit I put it onto. So I think I eventually want a copy, but not this early. We'll just go ahead and take the 5-mana 6/5. Infinite Hourglass is a playable card. Here's Teleport. But I also quite like Synchronized Strike as a trick, and I don't mind the Arching Punch Soldier as well. If I want to be aggressive, this card is 3 power for 2. It's not bad. And my deck is looking very aggressive. I think I'm not going to take the Hourglass because it is a conditional card, and I'm not sure how often this card becomes relevant. Once again, I'm not going to take this 5-mana 3/3. My 5-drop is my high curves are I already have 2 4s and 2 5s, and with the way this deck is going, I'm not sure if I care about a 5-mana 3/3 flyer. So I think it's going to be between the Soldier and the Teleport, and 9 out of 10 times I would just snap up the soldier. But because I have a lot of strangers, that things that pump strangers, I'm gonna be incentivized to pick up strangers a little higher later on, which means that my 2-drop slot may be overcrowded, and that I might not need the soldier, which is why I'm kind of hesitant a little bit. So now I'm looking at synchronized strike versus teleport. So far, I have strength of many as my only trick, and if I want to go aggressive, I do want to attack a lot. So that leads me to think that synchronized strike will be a good card in this deck. More so than teleport, perhaps. No, we'll take up the first copy. I think, to be honest, I think we'll be able to pick out another copy of either of these cards. So let's just go with the teleport first and see if we can pick up the synchronized strike a little bit later. Longsword is good, Stranger is good. It's also on color, but the Zenin Guardian is very good. Between these three cards, I think I'm going to dismiss the Longsword first, and look at these two units here. I may not play the Spike Buckler, so I could have this on my 4-drop slot. But this Stranger is actually on color, and I would play this Stranger over the other card, or the other Strangers. I'm actually gonna take the Stranger here. That might be a mistake. Zenin Guardian is very, very good. Let's just take the Stranger. I may cut one of the other Strangers because this one provides me all the right colors. Wow, wow, look at that late torch. I do want. Oh, can I? Can I splash the torch? Torch is just so good to pass up. If I can splash it, I would love to splash it. Or I can take the kind of a save card in the treasury guard here. Just another random 3-drop. I think I'm gonna be able to pick up a lot of random 3-drops, so I'm not gonna miss this card, even though I don't even if I don't pick it. So why don't we pick up the torch in the off chance that we play it? I think a small probability of playing an amazing card like Torch is better than a high chance of playing a mediocre card like this. So let's just go for the gamble a little bit. If we splash red, this is a really good card as well. We're not going to play any of these cards. If we splash red, the Katana can be good, but I'm not sure I would put the Katana in my deck even if I splash it. I'm going to take the rare here just because I don't want any of the other cards. I think the Peacekeeper is not great. Like, it's very, very weak. You need 6 lands, which is already a lot, and then you need to draw more lands for this to become relevant. Let's just take the rare. Wow, that's very good in draft. So this, hey, if I take up this land, and I have this land, I am very likely going to be able to splash the torch. I think the ability to splash the torch outweighs the Mithril Mace, so let's just take that. Slow is mediocre. None of these other cards are going to be my deck. Let's just take the rare Grim Stranger. Wow, red is so open. There's a... No... Once I pick up more splash color fixing, there's a non-zero chance that I will play the Katana. The Katana is slightly better than Acolyte, even though the Acolyte comes with a body, because it draws a card, and I value cantrips quite a bit, so let's just take that. Yep, this is a very good 4-drop, actually. It blocks everything, pretty much. So I'm happy to pick that up. If we splash red, this is a very good card to splash. And if we don't splash red, what is there? Oh, I guess the Emerald Ring. That's kind of a stupid question. Let's just grab this Emerald Ring and not look back. Yeah, none of the other time cards here matter. So let's just take the Emerald Ring. Banish is so good. Wow. I think we're not going to splash black anymore. We have just the Zenin Stranger for the splash, so that's out of the question. Oh wait, but I do want to splash this Stranger in my Stranger deck. But how realistic is it that I have currently no fixing for black? I think that it's not very realistic. So let's just get another Sand Viper. Another Stranger. Time Weaver is fine. 5 mana 3/4 is playable. The ability is actually pretty relevant as well. So I kind of like that. I don't know if I need another Stranger. I already have 3, and this one is completely not the right colors, although it helps me splash red. If I put this in, then I'll cut the Zenin Stranger, I think. Yeah. Or I can play the 5 mana 3/4. Now let's just take the Stranger. Or cut the Zenin Stranger for now. Okay, this helps me splash black, but man, double splashing doesn't seem like a good idea. Let's just get this here. It's a perfectly playable card. Not amazing, but it's perfectly playable. I don't really like the 3 mana 3/07s, it's too defensive. Viper's Bite is not exactly good in this deck. Not enough shenanigans to play with it. You know, if you were blue and you have the Stormcaller, then you know you kind of win the game with this. But I think green and time are both not open on this pack, which is really unfortunate. We're going to get very little playables out of this. I'll get the 0/7 here. Oh, hey, the Fencing Master is fine. Oh, but the Humbug Swarm is also very fine. Both of these cards are very good, but I think the Fencing Master would be better if I had more than one way to stun someone. The Humbug Swarm is just always good. 3/3 worth of flying is very strong. Then again, my 5-drop slot is very heavy right now. But if I don't trigger the ultimate, a 3 mana 2/2 is really bad. And I don't really have too many ways to stun people. In fact, I only have one. That's risky. Any 5s that I don't like? All my 5s are decent. I don't need to play the Archaeologist, but all my 5s are decent. Let's take the Humbug Swarm. It is a pretty powerful card. Another 0/7. None of these cards I can splash. We'll take the Viper's Bite this time. Another Stranger. I'm not gonna play this land. Wow. Skycrag is very open. We got destroyed on this pack. There were very few playable cards for us. I think I can't double splash these, so no point taking it. We did get hurt pretty badly this pack though. Take the uncommon. Another Archaeologist. And I might not even play the first copy. We need some help. We need some good cards this pack. Our deck's not coming together so well. We would really ideally like one more Stranger Lord, perhaps. And I think we need some good 3 and 4 drops. I think we want 1 or 2 more combat tricks, and we want a couple of weapons. This is a perfectly playable card. Steward of Prophecy over the Argenport Soldier, which I think is fine because my 2-drop is already pretty packed. Nothing to splash. I could splash the Field Captain, but I think this Steward is fine. Channel. Oh, hey. Pillar of Mar is exactly what I need. It gives this game some late game power. This card's very powerful. So we're going to go ahead and take that over the Cavalry. Okay. No Justice cards. Between these, I'll just take the 4-drop over the 7-drop. Another Hourglass. Oh, Feather is very good. I'm going to take this Feather. It can close out a game very quickly. So we're going to go ahead and snatch this up. Seems like Time and Justice are running dry as well in the 4th pack. Perhaps we have incorrectly identified the open colors and sort of drafted ourselves into a corner. I don't think I'll take well, but if I don't take the Stranger, what else am I going to take, right? There's not like if there's anything else even that good here. Wow. Yeah. I think Bold Venture is perfectly playable, but I already have a ton of 2-drops. Let's take the 4-mana 2/2 flyer with an upside. Ah, Stormcaller and Viper's Bite. Too bad I can't splash this. Yeah, I'm pretty happy picking up a Mithril Mace here. Oh wow, some late Justice cards. Inspire versus Treasury Guard versus a splashed Valkyrie. In order for this Valkyrie to be good, we need a lot of weapons in our deck, and we didn't draft that many weapons. In fact, we only have the Feather and this potentially splashed Katana. And that makes the Valkyrie not as good. Only other way of pump it is using the Emerald Ring. So I think I'm just gonna pick up this Guard over the Inspire. Is that correct? Let's take a look how many units I have. I'm most likely not gonna play all these strangers. In fact, I know for a fact that I'm not gonna play all these strangers. So maybe 3 of them. And then 2 Sand Vipers. My early game is pretty locked up. My mid game is mediocre. Then my late game is pretty good. So this doesn't help me too much in the mid game. Another blocker isn't amazing. Let's just grab the Inspire. Song of War. Don't think I'll play it, but it's a rare. We'll take it. Won't play any of these cards, so take the days here. Ooh, Rampage is actually a good splashable card. Alright, so the draft didn't go so well. I think we maybe was a little careless as we got into the second pack, and we got into a couple of colors that are not super open, and we draft ourselves into a corner so that we couldn't switch anymore. I'm not sure if at any point during that draft we could have switched and changed cores, but I clearly didn't think about it, so here we are. So let's just put in the cards that I think are pretty decent. No, let's not play with the Archaeologist. I don't think I need it. Wait, no, not Pack Hunt. I'll play with Inspire. Okay. And then just a bunch of strangers. So I think the best one is this one, because it's on color, and it's good for the splash. And then this is on color, so it's very good. And then this just helps the splash. So I think these 4 strangers are more likely the ones that will make the deck. And we can cut 1 card. Look at this curve. Super high 2, almost no 3s, a little bit of 4s, and then this is not a pretty curve. Because we have 7 drops, I think this deck wants 18 lands, so we have to make 2 cuts. Wait, no, we have to make 1 cut. Well, we only have 15 units. That's a problem. So whatever we cut... Oh no, a Humbug Swarm is a unit, so 16 units. So we need to cut something that is not a unit. Probably the Spike Buckler, I would think. Everything else in this deck seems okay. Even the red splash card seems pretty good, actually. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. I think my mana base is actually pretty good. I think the fixing that we've picked up, we've picked up a lot of fixing. So I think we're gonna have no consistency issues with power. So I have 1, 2, 5 red sources, 6, 7, 8 red sources for splash. That's way too much. I don't need it. I think 6 red sources for splashing is more than sufficient. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 sources is more than enough for a splash like this. So we have 8 time and 7 justice. 8 time and 7 justice. I actually don't have any justice cards to play in the early game. Most of it is time, and they only have 1 influence requirement. It's actually pretty easy. The only difficult card to cast is this here. And this one. Actually, I actually think I want more justice than time because the cards that I want to cast early have heavy justice requirements. Uh, I mean, yeah, I get double time requirement when I get to 5 drops, and then the 7 drop, of course. That's fine. So this gives me 8 sources of time, 9 sources of time, and it gives me one, two. Uh, oh, this gives me 11 sources of justice. So let's even that out a little bit. Okay, I think this is the deck. I think the deck looks pretty good. It's a little light in units, I understand, but my spells are pretty powerful. I have a good mixture of tricks. I have ways to cantrip a little bit to help me reduce the variance. Cantrips are good at that. Uh, I have some very powerful removal spells, some tricks. I have a Emerald Ring that lets me go into the late game, and then I have some solid high end fatties um, as win conditions. So I think this deck is pretty good. I give this deck maybe a 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to end the video now and record the games separately.